and welcome to Dax Chats. In this episode, we're heading off to Alabama in the United States, where we're talking to a 17-year-old songwriter. She's not just a songwriter, she's still in senior high school, and she's a softball player, a basketball player, and a cheerleader, but she is one hell of a songwriter. Today, Dax Chats to Sami Lavette, and here she is. G'day, Sami. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm very, very good. So look, it's been a crazy, crazy year for everybody, for the world, all over the place. And we found you because you came out with a really, really hard-hitting emotional song about this situation that we're all going through, in the mind of, a, a school child that, is going to miss their friends, is not going to have graduation, is not going to have prom. It's called The Saddest Song. It just blew my mind. Talk to us about that track and obviously what inspired it.
I've played softball since I was really little, and our school ball team, a lot of the seniors were kind of freaking out because it all happened during our season. And all of a sudden, there was no season, there was no school, there was no graduations or proms or anything. And so we were kind of expecting to be like completely different. And it was not what we expected at all of our year, and especially for the seniors. Like they got taken away their graduation and their prom, and we didn't even get to finish out our school year. So it was a lot of stress, and it was just very overwhelming for them, just because you only get one senior year of high school. And for me, being a junior, I realized all the things that we were going to miss this year. And so it's been very different, but I kind of just put myself in their shoes and just thought of what it would be like if I was a senior, and how things would be if I didn't get those games and all of that. And it just hit me one night. And so I was reading through their messages and all the things that they were saying, and I just kind of used that and wrote along with it.
Wow, man, what a song it is. I mean, it just blew my mind. When I first heard it, I was just like, now here's somebody that is so young, that is so in tune with what's happening in the world around her, that and it all, the emotion that you've put into this song is just absolutely brilliant, for someone of your age to start off with. Like, it is truly phenomenal. It's one of the best songs that I've heard throughout the whole pandemic, because you've had a lot of people come out with songs about the pandemic, like Big and Rich, Stay Home. That was just something funny, really. It was a comedy song, and there's been a couple of others. 6 Feet Apart by Luke Combs, that was really good. I like that. But yours hit hard because it hit about real life, and it hit about what you're going through as a student still going to school. So I loved it, absolutely loved it.
I wrote it actually in about 10 minutes, just sitting in my bed one night while I was reading through their stuff. And I put music to it the next night. We played through it one time, and then I videoed it the next night. Or no, we played through it one time. We played through it one more time, and I videoed in my living room floor. I had like this cut off tank top and shorts on, and that video ended up getting 250,000 views. And so we were like, we got to get this out. So we went and recorded at the Sound of Birmingham, and got it out as soon as possible. And we got a video done and had hundreds of pictures sent in. So it was great.
Yeah, yeah. I must have a look at that video because I haven't had it. I haven't had a look at it.
It's very, very long. It's like 10 minutes long.
That's
But
cool.
it has all of like the video of us in Birmingham kind of shooting in abandoned schools and stuff. And then the last 5 minutes is just of senior pictures that were sent in all across the states. So it was really cool.
So what has it been like I mean, we hear strange reports out of the United States, the biggest numbers, the most deaths in the world. You know, we get all the bad stuff, right? What's it like on the ground where you are in Alabama? How bad is it?
So we have like two types of people pretty much. There's the people that will not leave their house. They are freaked out. You know, they will not go near anybody. They wear their masks at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of the people, though, they're fed up. We know the virus is real, and we know that a lot of people are getting very, very sick.
Mm,
But we're kind of to the point where, you know, if we're gonna get it, we're gonna get it, and we have to just go back to living our lives. Like at some point, we have to get back to whatever normal was for us. And
mm, mm,
um, going to school for me personally, the virtual has helped me just because doing these interviews and songwriting and stuff, I get the extra hours at home
mm, mm,
and in between practices and things like that. So
mm,
I can use my time to focus on this a little more. But um, I know that some people are like really struggling because their parents will keep them home and they don't want them to get sick.
mm,
And I actually live with my grandfather too, so I don't want to risk it. And
mm,
it's just crazy. I know public schools have to wear their masks at all times, and they don't do anything on paper.
mm,
They turn everything in by computers, which is really difficult, especially if it's not like being turned in and received. And it's just very hard because there's no way to prove like I did this, but it won't show you and I can't like hand it to you.
mm, mm,
And our school is very small, so we're pretty normal. We just wear it in the hallways and we wipe down our desks before we get in them. But
mm,
ours is pretty normal. But I think we're just ready to get back to our lives. And
mm.
yeah.
I agree. Like, you know, it's gone, you know, obviously it started for me because I'm in China. It started for me in January. And, you know, like here we are in, what are we up in October now? And, you know, the world's stopped, you know, music, if it wasn't for radio and streaming platforms, music could be dead, you know, like thank goodness for people like me. But,
Oh yeah.
you know, it's one of those things where like okay we still have you know a number that come in every day from outside or from community transmission or wherever it's from, but you know when I think about the population here in China, it's 1.4 billion people, and when they're saying, oh, we've got 11 new cases in China today, you're like, well, what's the point? What, you know? But you know when you look at the stats in America where they've got 60,000 new cases and it's a population of 330 million people, that's a lot more dangerous, you know, and that really, you know, concerns people around the world, and it concerns, you know, we we always wonder what your government's doing, you know. I don't know, you know. And then Mr. Trump, lovely Mr. Trump, sorry I need to talk about this, but lovely Mr. Trump apparently got it himself and survived, and so he thinks it's great and it's no big problem. It's just a
um, we so the numbers like look really bad on the outside, and that's a lot of the media just takes it insane. Like
oh yeah,
um
yeah,
surely, yes, like tons of numbers are put out every single day, but 1% of them are going to get really, really sick and pass away.
yeah.
And that's going to be your older people or anybody with underlying health issues.
Oh correct.
And that's like very true. I've known tons of people that have gotten it. My sister got it.
Yeah,
And she never even had a symptom. Everybody that's gotten it at my school never had a symptom.
yep,
But
yep.
the numbers are so high because every workplace is testing
Mm,
and every school is having to be tested. Like you have to have a health check before you can go anywhere.
mm,
And so I think that's what the numbers are, because the younger people are not going to stop going anywhere.
yeah.
And it spreads like crazy among us, but we never have a symptom. So it
Mm,
doesn't affect us. We just
mm,
have to be smart about who we get around.
mm. So let's get off this subject because it's a bad subject, really. But
Yes.
uh, within that subject, you came out with something that was absolutely beautiful, and so kudos to you for putting that out there, for generations to listen to, because that will go down in history as one of the best songs written about this situation, as far as I'm concerned,
Thank
anyway.
you.
um,
Thank you.
so then after that, obviously from the success of that, you thought it's best to start popping out new songs, and so the second single was a real different. It was called "He's Country." Talk to me about "He's Country."
So I wrote He's Country in a the if it wasn't the very beginning of quarantine, it was like January, February, I think.
Hmm.
And it was just a lot of fun. I think we had watched The Longest Ride by Nicholas Sparks that night.
Hmm.
And so it was just this country chick flick. And I was like, well, I'm just going to write as if like I was in their shoes or something. And so um, I just wrote about some country boy, and here we are. But no, it's just a lot of fun. I am not very into like super country. I like the newer sounding like
Hmm.
pop country mix.
Hmm.
And so I really love the production on He's Country.
Hmm.
And it's just super fun. And it's all of my friends and family is their favorite. So
Yeah, well, it's a great song too. It's fantastic, and but it begs me to think that you're so young and you're writing about this country boy. Are you in a relationship with a country boy, or
I, I am, and he likes to say that song is about him, but I wrote it before I met him. So I guess it was my subconscious. It was, it knew.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's another great song. Now, obviously, we have our charts. We have our Country Thunder 20 charts, and we have now the North American Country Thunder 20. You have appeared with the saddest song on those charts. Didn't really make an impact with His Country. I don't know why, because it is a fan voted chart, so your fans weren't helping you out there. But we have a new release, and the new release came out a couple of weeks back, and it's called 1 Second. Now, this is another song that touches on a very emotional issue. So you've gone back to, you've gone from the saddest song to this fun, spirited song, and now you've gone back to a more serious side and talking about, how life can be taken away within a second. This is another brilliant song. When your dad sent it to me, of course. When your dad sent it to me, he said, "This is not, like the other stuff. This is not as country as the other stuff." And I just had to listen to it and went, "Oh, well, that's going on the station. Don't worry." talk to us about
It's
talk to us about 1 second.
so I originally wrote 1 second as my first project with my artist development team in Muscle Shoals.
Mm,
And I was kind of doing like an audition to see if I would fit in with the program. And
mm,
they wanted me to learn this song and perform it the next day. But when I went up to my room, I was really hurting all week about Naya Rivera's death. And if you don't know, the Glee star that drowned. And
yep.
um, I've seen Glee like 6 times through. I love it. I was obsessed with it. And Santana was one of my favorite characters. And so when she passed away,
Mm,
at first I was a little skeptical because it was when all that political stuff was coming out. And I was like, I wonder if this is like some scheme. But then, they found her, and they said that she was just saving her son. And it was just so crazy to think like how she got those cards dealt, like
mm,
she was just trying to save her son, and then all of a sudden, she was gone. And I think, God has a reason for everything. And I think that, we just have to learn to take every second for granted. And I think that, he knew that her life in particular would just touch everybody.
Mm.
So I think that she just needed her song to be sung one more time. But it came from that, and it also came from, everything going on with the riots and stuff. Right
Mm.
now, it's crazy, and nobody really feels safe anymore. And
Mm.
I, even with the virus, I think we just need to, just forget about all that and just love each other and just take advantage of every second that we have here and
Mm.
just live life to the fullest.
That's right, because you don't know when, you don't know, obviously I'm almost 50 years old, but every morning I wake up, I think, oh, okay, I've got another day here. That's, you never know when that's never going to happen again. And, like, uh, as I get older, that's what I think about more. I think about, how much time do I have left? So you've got to make every day count. So it's, doing these things is, making my day count, because I love doing this, and playing independent artists on my radio station it's because of the love that I have for the music, and if I didn't have that, I don't know if I'd still be here. But talking about the Glee thing, this is the second artist that's passed away on Glee now.
It's so this is kind of gross, but it's the third, the Puck
Third.
character, the
Mm.
one that had the mohawk or whatever.
Mm.
So he was in prison
Oh.
for I think it was like sexual assault or something of that nature.
Mm.
But he actually hung himself in prison. So it
Oh.
was Corey Monteith, Mark, I don't remember his last name. It was something, I think it's Jewish, but I couldn't pronounce it.
Mm.
And then Naya Rivera. And
Yeah.
so it was just kind of weird to me. Like, you've got to be kidding.
Mm.
Like, it's
Mm.
crazy.
But it's crazy how these young artists are just, be it musicians, be it, actors, be it, whoever. These young creatives are I know one of them ended their life. That it was like a drug overdose, and then it was, the other one was a hanging. So, like, there's two of them
Mhm.
that just gave up their lives. I just don't get that, never have.
When I was obsessed with Glee, I mean, I still am, but when I used to watch it all the time, when Corey Monteith passed away, I
Mm.
kind of like researched everything and looked a little bit more into it just because I was obsessed with the love story of Rachel and Finn on the show. And
Mm.
I figured out that in real life, Leah and Corey Monteith, they were actually engaged, and it
Mm.
had all come out that Corey was addicted to drugs. And
Mm.
the producer was like, I'm gonna have to put you off of the show if you're not gonna, act right.
Mm.
And so he, quit cold and was like, I'm gonna do this for Leah. I'm gonna do this for the show. Like, I'm gonna be a better person. And he was off for months and months, and
Mm.
he had become kind of like a role model for everybody. And he went home one weekend and he just relapsed really bad, and that was it.
That
It's
was it.
just,
Yeah, that's right.
it's
Yeah.
terrible.
It is terrible. Considering that, if you look at that show, he was the clean cut American boy, and he was such an inspiration to generations of young people in America, and across the world. Because I watched Glee, I loved Glee,
Yes.
and then for him to go through that situation, in real life. And then people think, well, he's not like he was on TV, like, he's completely different. It's strange. It's strange.
I think a lot of it, like, he really stood out to me just because he had an issue fitting into both crowds, like the
Mm.
athletes and the
Mm.
musicians. And, I have tons of crowds to fit in with, but with sports and music and
Mm.
school, it's tons of different things I'm being thrown around in. But I think in his life, it was more, who he was supposed to be and who he couldn't get away from being. It was
Mm.
kind of the
Mm.
same situation, but
Mm. Mm.
that love story is just crazy. And now she's married and has a baby, and
Mm.
but she still looks up to him
Mm.
every day. So
Mm. Well, I tell you what, you don't just do music. You are, as you just said, you're into sports. You're a cheerleader, a softball player, a basketball player, a member of several other clubs, choir. Is there anything you don't do? Oh, sorry, and you've been in pageants as well. So, is there anything you don't do?
Not much. Not much. Um, I I just always wanted to do everything. I do a little bit of it all, but I actually just got home from a softball tournament, so I did my makeup real quick and put a shirt on. I still got my pants on and my socks,
So,
but it was fun. We did really well today, so
good, good. Well, it's like, what's the time now? It's 10:15 in the evening over there, huh?
yes,
It's like
we've
11
been
o'clock.
up since 7 this morning.
My goodness. Well, it's 11 o'clock in the
Yes.
morning here. I've been up since 7 this morning.
That's so that is so crazy that my today is your tomorrow. Like I can't even comprehend it.
You're talking to the future.
It feels like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sammy, I need to ask what's coming for you because you've brought out three brilliant tracks that have gone straight to the Country Thunder Network without even thinking about it. What's next?
So with this artist development program, it's a 6-month deal, and we go up once a month. And every other week we have an online songwriting thing, and it's just kind of one-on-one with the producers.
Mm,
But I've been working through that, and at the end, we should have one big final produced track and about 20 demos and 50 written songs. So we'll have a lot to choose from, and hopefully, we will decide and get that out soon. But we are still writing and working all the time, so I guess it just depends on what rises to the top once it's done.
mm. Now you're thinking about obviously you're still in high school, so um, are you thinking about what the future is for music come the end of high school? Are you going to go to university, or are you going to just take on this? This is the thing. This is what we're going to do.
Um, well, uh, I guess you'd say I'm a type A person when it comes to planning. I've got to have a plan, a backup plan, and a backup plan.
Hmm.
And so I've never been one to just put, all of my stuff into music. Like I do when I'm working on it, but I don't want to, be a struggling artist on the side of the road either.
Hmm.
So I'm I do plan on going to college. I made my decision this week to go to Auburn University,
Hmm.
and I plan on studying international business with a minor in Spanish so I can have a nonprofit
Hmm.
community development thing in South America. And hopefully, if singing goes well, I can use uh, my fame or whatever to help my company and restore those communities. So,
My goodness, you're just. I don't get it. You're like 17 years old and you've got all of these plans that are just so beautiful. I mean,
I
where does that come from? That's awesome.
have no idea, really.
Wow. Helping people in South America, a non-profit organization, learning business and Spanish so that you can go and do this stuff. Like, wow, that is just phenomenal.
Yes, I do hope to do a lot of work in Nashville this summer. I think my dad and I have been discussing going up there every weekend if we don't have. I'm trying to push to get my own apartment up there
Hmm.
until college starts, but we're going to try and play a lot of places up there and see if we can get some stuff done this summer. So,
Absolutely. I was going to ask if Nashville's on the cards because Obviously
Yes.
that's the home of country music in the United States, and that's where you've got to be. That's where all the great songwriters are. That's all where all the great producers are. And I know lots of people in Nashville right now, and they're all struggling because Music Row's closed at the moment, and it's not the nicest place to be in. For their art anyway. So, hopefully that all opens up again soon, and Nashville will be thriving again with country music.
Yes. Nothing compared to Nashville, but before COVID, I was playing 5 or 6 different restaurants. And right now I have one steady restaurant that I play maybe twice a month. And I'm starting with another one in December. So it decreased drastically for me, and I don't have a family to feed or bills to pay. So I can imagine somebody that depends on that.
Well, one of my mates from Australia, he was applying to get his visa to live in Nashville, and it
Mhm.
got approved after 2 years of the hard work to get there, and he had to actually ask the Australian government for permission to leave the country because everybody was in lockdown at this stage. Managed to get the permission, managed to get over to Nashville to start his dream. He's been quite a successful artist already back in Australia, but he wanted to do the Nashville Dream, and so he gets over there and nothing's open. There's no songwriting sessions, there's no gigs, there's no anything. And so he had to resort to doing Facebook lives every fortnight and asking people to tip him on Venmo or PayPal
Yes.
just to pay his rent, to be able to just
Yeah.
be able to stay there. He's had a couple of gigs since just recently, and it's even funny when he puts those live on Facebook so we can watch it back in Australia and stuff like that. And even that's funny to watch because you see all the people are sitting on the tables and they don't have masks on or anything, but all the waiters all have masks on, and
Mhm.
it just seems so unreal, what's happening. I just
It's super uncomfortable because you
Mm.
don't know who's like don't touch me.
Yeah,
And in the South, you're like, hey, like give me a hug. And people are
yeah,
like,
yeah,
no, like I'm
yeah,
not hugging you.
absolutely. That's right. I mean, and that's not just in the South. I mean, there's huggers all over the world.
Yeah.
Australia loves, people love hugging people in Australia too, and it's just like, nah, just hold back. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't matter if you've got a mask or gloves or whatever. They're like, you just keep your distance. And then some people are like they don't care, and they're like, give me a hug and all this. And
Yeah.
it's just you never know like what that person thinks and stuff. So it's crazy.
Mm. Well, Sammy, thank you very much for your time today. Well, this evening. It's very late for you, so I'm sure you want to go to bed very soon. Um, and uh, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you. And as I said, your music is inspiring to say the least.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for all those kind words. It
No
helps a
worries.
lot.
No worries. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Sami Lavette. Her latest songs, well, the saddest song is playing on the Country Thunder Network, as too is He's Country, and her brand new track, 1 Second, is also playing on the Country Thunder Network. You can also get it on all your streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, what have you. But go to this website right here, countrythunder.com.au. Request a Sami Lavette song from the player and listen to it right while you're listening to the station. Or you can vote for it in the Country Thunder 20. Just go to our website again, and the voting form is at the top of the page. I'd like to thank our sponsors for this episode, FABAPC, and of course, we are proudly supported by Neon Horse in Stanhope, Victoria. This is DJ Dax, and you've been watching Dax Chats. Bye for now.